Okay, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Charlotte. I am 21 years old, and by the title of this video, then you probably know what I'm going to be talking about. And if you are watching this video, then you probably have been through something similar. You've lost somebody that you love, you know somebody who's lost somebody that they love, or you just know me and my situation. And yeah, I guess we'll just get into it. I don't really have any structure to this video. I guess my main point in wanting to make this video is that I definitely could have used something like this right after my brother passed away. So I guess I'll just start off with a little bit of the story. But I lost my brother on April 21st, 2017, and that actually today marks 7 months without him, which is absolutely crazy to say out loud. He was just 23 years old, and it was very unexpected. And I won't go into too much detail about that day specifically. If you want, I can make another video more specific, but it was very, very difficult. I got a text message saying that my brother was dead from my mom, and just fell to the floor. I wasn't home at that time, so I had to get a ride to my house and pulled up to like 6 cop cars outside of my house. And I remember screaming so loudly that like everything felt like in slow motion. I felt like I was going to pass out. And I remember running into my house and trying to get to my brother, and the cops having to tell me that I couldn't go in there, and just falling on the floor. It's so crazy, the things that you remember that are so specific from the day when you lose somebody that you love. You just remember the weirdest things. And even like seeing a cop car now, or sometimes getting a text message, I like get taken back to that moment, and I just get so shaken up. Oh my gosh, that's so loud. My sister and I were the ones who really stepped forward and helped plan my brother's funeral. It was just really difficult because my brother passed away on a Friday. His birthday was on the next Tuesday. Wednesday was my niece Caroline's 4th birthday, and Thursday was the funeral service, and then Friday was my mom's birthday. So it was just like absolutely chaotic, so busy. So we were so distracted, and then once that was over, everything really hit. Once we all kind of started to adjust back to normal life, that was absolutely the hardest part, because you don't want to go back to normal, and everybody around you is just going on with their lives, and you just feel stuck. Sorry if you can hear my cat. But for those of you who did know my brother or know me and grew up with us, know that I absolutely adored my brother. I wanted to do everything with him. I always wanted to be with him. I would literally pay him just to let me sit in his room with him and his friends, which is like so pathetic, but I just loved him. I wanted to do everything with him. So getting that message and knowing that I like would never get to spend any more time with my brother was the worst thing that I could ever hear. Losing a sibling at this age is really, really hard. I remember getting books right after my brother passed about the process of grieving and the stages that you go through. And somebody gave me a book about parents, like their experience losing their children, and there was just nothing about losing a sibling. And it was so frustrating. There were not a lot of resources or videos or blogs or anything, and I just wanted to feel like normal. And the thing about like making this video or like hearing other people's stories is that it makes your feelings, it makes you feel like you're normal, like for feeling the way that you do. I felt like so depressed, and I just wanted, to hear somebody who had lost their brother as well tell me like I was depressed too, because it's just so hard. I just wanted to connect with anybody. And grief itself is such an isolating experience. So isolating. And of course, I mean, like, maybe you just don't want to talk to people, you don't want to do anything. But also, just even when I would try and hang out with friends or try to do something normal, I like was not there, because I just like all these people who are my age are like having so much fun, and their biggest struggle is dating and studying for exams, and like I'm like without my other half, and I just like wanted their struggles. And I'm such like a like I have such a compassionate heart for everybody, and that was something that was really tough for me, because when people would complain about stuff, I just couldn't even hear it. Like I would have to leave the situation. Something that I've learned through the past couple of months is that you shouldn't skip out on grief just because it's hard. Because no matter what, you are going to go through it. Whether you distract yourself for 7 years, you will experience grief the second you stop distracting yourself. And grief is just a testament to how much you cared for that person. And they deserve it. My brother deserves to be grieved, so of course I'm going to grieve for him. Another thing that I could say is that the best advice that I've gotten was actually at my brother's funeral. And that is that there is purpose in every bit of suffering. When I was told that by my friend Daniel, I looked at him and I was like, what are you talking about? How is there purpose in my brother dying? Like, how could there possibly be any purpose in that? Like, this is horrible. And you just look around and you see so many people and you're just like, why my brother? Why not this person? Why not that person? It sounds horrible, but that's the truth. But there is purpose in it. And if the purpose of my brother passing away is for me to make this video and to connect with somebody who's struggling, then there's purpose in it. Single thing. And, I find purpose that I have such an appreciation towards others now and my family that, I'll teach my kids one day, and I know I'll be a better mom just because of this situation. And I could teach my kids those values. So there's purpose in every bit of it. Grief and death is just as much a part of life as life. And it's hard, but it's so humbling, and it changes who you are. And I remember thinking that it was so hard because I'm just such a fixer, and it was so hard to just sit around and know that only time is going to make this better. I just wanted to read a book and feel better, like connect with somebody and feel better. But just knowing that like there's no way out of it, you just have to go through it and endure it, was so hard. It's just so hard. And, so grateful for family. And another thing that I think has been so unbelievably helpful has been spending time with my brother's friends. Oh my goodness, like getting to know my brother through other people's perspectives has been so cool, because we all know each other. We all knew my brother Thomas in different ways. I knew him as a sister. My mom knew him as a son. My brother's friends knew him as a friend. And so it's been so cool to just learn more about my brother through that. And just to like hear stories has been so helpful. Another thing I wanted to talk about is for people who don't know what to say to people who are grieving. Nothing hurts more than it not being talked about. My biggest thing is like my brother being forgotten. I constantly want to talk about him. I constantly want to hear about him. I think a lot of people's fears, from what I've heard, and from, like before this happened to me, I would not know how to approach anybody who had been through something so hard. My best advice to people who are struggling with that is to acknowledge the situation no matter what, because maybe you don't want to bring up something sad to that person, but I can almost 100% guarantee that that's already in their head. They will always think about that situation. There's not a moment where they have just forgotten. Even when they're smiling and even when they're happy, it's still there. And it's not going away. So by you bringing it up and just acknowledging it, I remember just appreciating anybody who would do that, and not ignoring it, and not, pretending like it didn't happen. If you don't know what to say, then just say, I don't know what to say, but I'm here. It means the absolute world. Especially as time goes on, letting them know that you are still hurting with them, still there for them, still thinking of them, means the absolute world. Every day is different, and I genuinely don't even know what the next month holds with the holidays coming up. But I just, it's so hard. It's so hard to think about, like, my first Christmas without my brother. First Thanksgiving, the first of everything in this, like, trying to make this, like, a new normal is so sad to me. Like, I don't want this to be my new normal. I don't want to spend Christmas without my brother. Like, it's so hard. It's so, so hard. Grief is so hard, but so important to go through. And if you're watching this video and you're struggling, just know that you have every right to go through every stage of grief at the same time if you want to. You can be angry, you can be sad, you can be nervous, you can be anxious, you can be scared, you can be numb. There's such a misconception about, how long grief lasts. And to be honest, I don't think it ever goes away. I think that you get used to it, but I don't think that it ever leaves. And that sucks to say out loud, because you just want it to be like a year, you go through all the stages, you want it to be this nice and ordered thing, but it's just not. It's not realistic. Just know that I'm here for anybody. I'm sure so many friends are there for you. Something that really helped me was writing, and I know that sounds so stupid and so cliche. Like, I remember everybody telling me, you should journal, you should journal, you should journal, and I was like, I don't want to journal. But then I started, and I actually really liked it. I'm so sorry if you have lost somebody that you love. I can genuinely say I understand how hard it is. It's a pain that you just can't even describe. I never thought that I could miss somebody so much. And, if you haven't lost anybody, I can't tell you enough how much you should appreciate the ones that you love. oh my goodness, there are just so many things that I wish I could have said. So many things. Just so many moments where I wish I just went up and hugged my brother or just let him know that I loved him. And trust me, you don't want to wait until the last minute. You really don't. I know that he knows I love him. And I know he'd be really happy that I am making this video. But I hope this was helpful in some way. I'm praying for everybody, and you know, even if I don't know your story, just know that I'm hurting with you, and I'm here. All right, bye guys.